Well, let's try instead of export. We'll just try this blueprint read write. Blueprint rewrite should not be used on private members. That's something new. That would definitely be some other flag in there that if it's not a public member of the class, that its serialization would skip over it. We'll eventually get here. We'll eventually get that for us. So let's see what these things look like here. Whoa, this thing is just frozen now, isn't it? Why is that? It is frozen because it's creating slate text layout crap. For what? It's going through this for every color that's inside of this array. It's making the slate UI elements to show it. That's fucking funny. Oh, just the slate UI stuff is, I think, trying to make the array of F colors before I even drop down the menu, and so it just freaks out, which is pretty funny. So just clicking on it loads up all the garbage. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I guess what we're going to want to do is save these textures as UAssets to the asset database and just do it that way, because It doesn't like it. Well, it's just, I mean, obviously Slate should have something built in there for showing arrays where it's like, that's too much shit. I'm just going to have ... and you can deal with it. Yeah, so M data will show up there. Well, let's take a look. Let's what we're gonna do is not make it edit anywhere for this data, just the other ones, and we'll see if at least these two will show up, and that'll at least tell me that in the future, if I ever want anything, that I could save like maybe some integers or something, but I can't save a giant array of garbage. And that would be basically us being able to save like a reference to a texture inside of this component properly. And it may be we can use blueprint read write, but not edit anywhere. And that way it won't show up in the editor, triggering all that garbage. Yeah, 1024 and 1024 got saved on this object from the previous stuff. So that's not bad. That got saved then. So let's see if we can save it, but not have it be editable in the editor. Yeah, and edit anywhere is the thing that says it can be edited via property windows, archetypes, and instances within the editor. Now, the blueprint in the editor is not the blueprint in the game? Yeah. But the blueprint in the game, has instance data on it, so you can edit it. The instance of the blueprint has its own data as well. And that's where I want to save stuff. So let's see. Yeah, it didn't freak out on us, so that's cool. And this looks a little bit too high. Yeah. Would not the handover of the data not just be as intensive as recreating it? Well, sans all of the 1 million raycasts that we're doing to actually create that data to begin with, it shouldn't be that long. Because we're not going to be redoing those raycasts all over again. And I can always have it when you move the object that it just clears all the data anyway, because it's going to have to recompute that crap. So that's all there. Let's see if it was actually in the blueprint. I mean, in the actual object when it got loaded up, and then we accidentally blew it away somehow. Yeah, we'll probably blow it away right here with this old texture width sort of thing, because it's going to create a... Well, it's going to create a new texture, which is fine. This texture build should be false. And data is definitely empty. Alright, so it's toast there. That's really very interesting. I would not have expected that it's handling the data in fundamentally different ways. So at least we could try to brick the editor again with this thing, and we should at least see the data get saved. Otherwise, there's something in here where there's a special case handling. You know, it's the edit anywhere case, which is actually causing this to be saved as opposed to blueprint rewrite. So it would be the editable flag on the thing, which is causing this to be. Because I can always go into Slate, and if it's like freaking out the UI, I can always just go in there and, you know, fix the bug with huge array size causing allocation of 1 million text fields. Just be like, is array num bigger than, you know, 5? Then just don't render this. Or, you know, bigger than 1,000, just don't do it. So I can't look at this thing after I compute it, but I should be able to save it and reload it and see something. Save. And this is pretty much just my own curiosity at this point. I'm pretty much completely sold on just saving the U assets into the asset database for textures here. I just want to know if there's something else that I should go look at. Well, the only thing that should be able to edit the data should be where we actually blow away the data right here in the data init, or inside of clear texture or anything. And we don't actually call those for this specific one. We call get texture, which we'll call build texture, which should use cache data if it's available. So we'll get called only for this component here. Yeah, there's something here with the data array where it just doesn't want to do it. Well, that's fine. Alright, so that just doesn't work. And we could try saving it out here, but F colors don't save either. So then we want to reference data. So we need to actually get some editor saving and loading object stuff in here. So kind of how the landscape does it with these like painting layers, you actually have to like create layers inside of your level. And it'll create like these layer info U assets where it actually saves all this crap out. So we're going to have to basically do that same thing with this data in order to get it to do what we want. So let's turn this back to transient. So we're going to want to call get texture, and then we're going to save that texture. So we're going to need to create some utility functions here for asset saving in the asset database, I believe. And we're going to want to save stuff, so it'll be like save asset in database. So it'll be like Dashkin object utils save asset in database. And we're on like a const f string, the name of the asset, we want like const f string as root, and then we're going to want a u object pointer in the object, something like that probably. One of the times they prevent you from doing something stupid? It might be, but so this will be call this to save an asset in the asset database. So if with editor we're gonna like return true at the end here, otherwise we'd return false. So we're going to want the texture creator component to not have a transient texture. It's just going to actually be a real texture pointer. And this will be edit anywhere and all that crap. So that'll be our texture, and we started off with null pointer and all that stuff. So that'll make it so it'll just save and load properly, and all we have to do is pass, we're going to call get texture, and we'll call save on it. So how do we actually save stuff in the asset database again? We've got that somewhere over here. Tools, I think we had texture tool. So I guess they have like create texture 2D as an actual thing that we can snag in here. But we already have a texture, we just want to save that U object as something. Alright, so this is creator update. So we have create asset inside of this thing. We pass in the static class, the asset path, and the name for the texture. So we can probably genericify this by, we have the asset name, the path, we have the static class for the texture, and the texture factory? Do we need a factory for this thing then? Well, that'd be unfortunate if we had to have a factory for it. So we can do like post edit change on stuff, which will invoke the uAssets stuff to save it. But we might need a specific texture a specific factory for the object type. Let's see if there's like a get default factory. The factory used to build the new asset. So get default factory for actor for uAsset Unreal. Yeah, it looks like we have to have a factory for this. I swear there's some type of... I mean, you have to create an asset factory for your thing to be available to the editor, so there's obviously something where it's already registered. It was just having this factory, and then like the Unreal header tool goes through and grabs all this crap. So I might want to just make a texture object factory, like save texture, and just use that. Let's just have save texture asset. And we'll just kind of proof of concept it out. So where's this Dashkin texture factory at? Let's see, is there just like save U object as assets Unreal? Just something simple like that. Like, do we need to do all this factory crap? Like, this will create the actual U asset, and I just want to save an existing U asset though. Like, it calls the factory, which will do stuff, which I need to go to Dashkin texture tool. Where are you? Does this need to be in a header file so it can be parsed properly? Might need to be. Alright, so we should be able to just do this. Or we snag this texture factory thing here. I don't know, there's probably a better way to do this. So we'll just pass in the texture and just see if we can trick this thing into saving itself. And we're gonna need the asset tools. Asset tools module, asset tools, and that'll let us do all this. Alright, so I'm going to want to return a uTexture2D pointer here, which is going to be a pointer to the new asset. Let's see what this create asset thing actually does. This is asset database, asset tools module. Oh, there's literally just an asset database.create asset with an object and a path. So I don't have to do any of this crap. Oh no, this is the Unity documentation. What am I doing? Asset tools create assets. Let's see. Optional name of this thing, asset name, factory creates it, blah blah, null if it fails. Alright, and we're going to have to include the asset tools in this thing. And that probably means we also need to include it into our build process. So let's crack this open real quick. Is there... Yeah, it's asset tools and the private include modules. Is it private dependency modules? Private include paths? It's just the private include paths? Alright, well, let's see if it works. Let's keep adding editor code to our runtime module. That sounds like a really great idea. You're now home, Kenta 456. Alright. Time to start having some fun then. And sorry, I'm just kind of muddling my way through messing with stuff, but I've never actually saved any of these things out before like this, so I don't expect to know what I'm doing. I expect to slowly just acquire knowledge until I do know what I'm doing. Or at least until I think I know what I'm doing, which is probably more dangerous. I'm in no real hurry to do too much here. It is kind of annoying that I have to pass in a factory for this thing. I guess the factory is supposed to create a new UI asset or something. Cannot open include file iAssetTools.h. No directory. New factory base class undefined, super unknown override. Alright, so core UObject, property editor, slate core, render core, asset tools, asset registry. Do we need that too? It's not a linker error, it's an include paths error. Oh, this is private include paths module names. Alright, that's probably what's going on. So I got the wrong thing going on. It's a module, not a standard path. I'm probably going to have to call prompt for checkout and save on these assets. Otherwise, they're not actually going to save to disk. Yeah, and we're going to have to use the asset registry to actually save it, I think. Let's just fix all the stupid things that I broke. Yeah, it's kind of interesting that they don't have just like a binary dump place for cached data. You know, you'd think that would be on a blueprint instance object. You'd be like, oh, well, there's a little place here where you can, you know, pre-calculate data and it'll save it. Have like a pre-calculate or cook button or something on your asset, because there's a lot of stuff there where you need to, you know, cache data like for all sorts of stuff like pathfinding, whatever else. Yeah, where the hell is UFactory described then? Is it? It's inside of factory.h, which is inside of Unreal Ed. Let's see if it's just factory.h. We can just include that guy. Editor specific code. Ugh. Ugh. What are we doing? What am I doing with my life? Well, at least the Jenkins builds have succeeded successfully for the last 2 months and 10 days. We've gone over 2 months without breaking the damn build. Cannot include factory.h. Shit. Is it like this asset tools? Private include paths? No, we already added that one. It's gonna be something else. Is it gonna be in our PCH file for this thing? Yeah, unreal.ed.h, engine types. It's just unreal.ed.h, probably. So it's actually going to be, then we need to add Unreal Ed probably in here to include module names. Moan and groan, what? Everything's messed up. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm just complaining about everything. How come I have to compile my code? It's so annoying. Why can't things just magically work for me instead of working against me like they always do? Why is it always something wrong with me and not something wrong with the universe? I don't understand. Programs are specifically designed to work against us. I don't think they're smart enough. You could say it's inherent that we create our own problems. So all of this, the reason why everything is always busted with programs is because they are a reflection of our true selves, and we are all completely broken and flawed. Man, I've been spoiled working on blueprint stuff where I don't have to wait around for this crap to compile. Alright, so we're going to see if saving this texture asset actually saves this texture asset. So we're going to go snag this test content, water, test water. And after we do this, I'm going to call, we're just going to delete all this garbage. Same with this crap. All this is getting deleted. And what we're going to call is, what was that? Save. It's not a static function. I didn't make it a static function. That is pretty cool though. Like we've gone over a month, over 2 months without actually breaking the build system, without submitting a broken thing, even though we've been doing work every day. that doesn't happen on large projects. You rarely go a day without breaking something. Yeah, and if this is kind of a pattern that I want to be able to save stuff, I'll probably make some utilities. It makes it real easy to save U assets. Because that's kind of what I do, is if it's like, it's just kind of a problem and it really shouldn't be a problem, I usually just fix it and forget about it ever existing. It's like one of those things with like serializing. Like let's say you want to serialize a U object into JSON. Well, guess what? You can't, because Unreal, except I can, because I wrote the hookups. And they had some stupid limitations, like you couldn't serialize like a T-map or some other crap, and I was like, that's dumb. You should be able to serialize a T-map in JSON. Alright. So let's go to our function here. It's called save texture asset. Alright, we're going to call this test texture, and the root is going to be, what the hell is the root going to be? Let's make a test saves here. Let's make a new texture. You can't just make a new texture. It has to actually take some sort of data, I guess. Can I copy the path? No, of course I can't copy the path. That would just make sense. That's okay. Alright, so we're going to call get texture from a texture creator component that we're going to call save texture asset. Alright, well, let's go ahead and cook this thing up. Alright, so we're going to save this as test texture in test saves, and we have the textures, so attempt to create a package with a name containing double slashes. What? Oh, I added a slash to it or something. I like how that literally just crashes the damned editor. Like, You got a slash on the end of this thing. Oh my god, I got a crash. Like, come on, it's a simple like double slash thing there. It should at least be, some sort of warning, but then not just like a hard crash. Jesus Christ. And it's as simple as like we have a slash at the end of this. There we go. Like Alright, so name, text texture, text saves. The asset has hopefully been saved. Let's see if it's there. Nothing? Nothing here? Well, if it's not there, it's because we're supposed to create an asset of a specific type, a specific location, and then we need to save over it. We need to update and save it. So what we probably need to do is we need something that's a little bit better. Like, where's our texture? Like this thing is using the image wrapper, like create texture. Let's check these fimage utils and see if there's a different function that we can call. Looks like the Unreal forums are going really slow at the moment. That is also annoying. I drowned the mushrooms? Yeah, there's a few. There's a few that are drowned. Alright, so this text 2D, you create a new object, outer name, name, flags, sources, init. You gets locked, we do the unlock, we do all this other crap, and then we do post edit change. And I guess that, what is outer? Is the outer U object, then we have the name, in params, and everything else. Oh wait, there's assets to save. It says there's test saves, test texture. Let's see if we can save it then. It may be that the asset browser didn't actually catch it or something. They'll get better care, Kane. I mean, also mushrooms don't have feelings, so, you know, calling them so pitiful is... I think your pity may be displaced, or misplaced if you were having pity on mushrooms. Think of the mushrooms. Think of them. Like, think of what? Why would I care? Even people who would claim like you're murdering carrots by eating them and pulling them out of the ground and only eat things that fall off of trees or something. They would not care about mushrooms. They'd kick them. They wouldn't even need to eat them. They'd be like, nah, mushrooms aren't things. Smash, squish. It didn't save anything in here. That's pretty funny. Alright, well let's try it again. So post edit change throws this thing up to wherever. I mean, where the hell did we actually save this thing? Like, is it saving it anywhere is the question that I've got. Game, test content, water, test saves, test texture. So it says there's something there, but it can't actually save it. Yeah, the test texture asset exists here. So why can't we look at it?